First of all, Carlton, why return to English football and to management now?
It's a strange one, really. It really is. Because when I resigned from Mansfield, I resigned for a reason. I wasn't enjoying it. I felt the game had changed. I do believe the game's changed. I think it's governed by money. And so I decided to get out of it. Obviously, the pandemic. Lucy and I have been in Shanghai for 7 years now. And, you know, we normally get home every 12 weeks. Not being able to get back now, when we come back on the 4th of July, that will be 15 months without seeing, you know, the kids, the grandkids, parents, friends and family. You know, my wife's lost a grandfather to COVID, and, you know, we've had to do the funeral over you know, FaceTime. So she was ready to come back. I had a year left on my contract out here. I was able to negotiate out of that year. And then we just sat down talking about what I'm going to do for it, because the plan was to go straight to Portugal, but we're having a house built in Portugal, so that's not ready now. So she said, well, what are you going to do? And she said to me, well, you need to go back to the one thing that you know you love, which is football. And I said, no, I'm not going back into league management. I left for a reason, and I think it's become worse. And then simultaneously with that, I was just on the, you know, talking to Curtis Woodhouse. And Curtis said to me, he said, like, why don't you know, try non-league? He said, you know, grassroots football is where we started, and it would be blinding for somebody like you to give something back. So Curtis was at Gainsborough at the time, and said to me, like, listen, Carlton, we'd love to have you in some capacity. And I said to Curtis, you know, yeah, you know, but I'm really my own man. If I do something, I'll do my own project. But he got me thinking, and then I spoke to Lucy, and Lucy said, yeah, it'd be brilliant. You could give something back. So Curtis then linked me with the chairman, Darren Ashton, and we've been on with this now probably about 2.5 months, just talking about what I want, what he wants, and what I don't want. Rob, is like, when I came out of the game, it wasn't enjoyable, mate. I didn't enjoy it. When I speak to managers who are in the league now, and all they live for is the result on the Saturday. They don't enjoy the training. They don't enjoy the matches. They don't enjoy anything, because it's all about the result on a Saturday, because it become a money-based industry. I don't want to be involved in that. I don't want to be involved in that. So I said that's why I came out of it. I've had numerous offers over the years to go back into football, and I've chosen not to. You see it now. It's not fun. There's no characters in the game. There's nothing. So I said all this to the chairman, and we sat down, and we've been talking for the last 2.5 months. I've been working for the last 15 years with young kids. I want to work with young, enthusiastic kids. I want to, like the chairman was saying to me at Grantham, they've got a magnificent youth set up there, whereby they've lost 2 players over the last few years because those players aren't getting a chance in the first team. You know, so what's the point, like the chairman said to me, of having a youth setup, of having, you know, an academy? What is the point of these kids if these kids don't get the opportunity? So we've continued talking along the way. I said to him, right, this is what I want to do. I want to work with young kids. I want to develop young kids. I want to, you know, so my first port of call, I said to the chairman, would be touching base with the under-23 manager, the under-19 manager. Which kids have we got that you think could make the step up to play in the first team? And they'll come and train with the first team, and they'll get their opportunity. I said to the chairman, every Saturday, without fail, 1 or 2 under-23 players will be on the bench. And that is, you know, the chairman and I are aligned in that. He understands where I'm coming from, that it's got to be fun, it's got to be enjoyable. When I played the game, forget the money I earned, forget all of that. I enjoyed playing the game of football. I enjoyed going to training. I enjoyed match days, win, lose or draw. I enjoyed playing football. At the end, you know, when I was manager of Mansfield, it wasn't enjoyable. It just wasn't enjoyable, not with the players, not with the fans, not with anybody. So I want to build what you can't do in league football is build a culture in a club, because you haven't got time. You haven't got time to build a culture. I want to build a culture in a football club that is not denoted by the results on the Saturday. So I haven't got to play a system on a Saturday to get a result. I play a system like we played at Sheffield Wednesday at Leeds United to entertain the supporters, play the way that we want, play with a smile on our face, go and enjoy it. And then you will get the results. If you look at Man City this season, Pep Guardiola is a prime example of that. At the start of the season, everybody was questioning him. 5 or 6 games in, oh, has Pep Guardiola lost it? Has he? No, has he not? He's not playing to get results. He's playing to get performances, and performances lead to results. When the performances kicked in, look what's happened. They've run away with the league. And so that is what has intrigued me about going back to non-league. And the chairman and I, you know, he's from Sheffield. Curtis Woodhouse and I have been friends for many, many years. And Curtis is a straight shooter. And he tells me when he first introduced us, he said, you two will get along straight, fine, because you struck both straight people. And we have done. And we're aligned in the way that we want to go forward. And you know what? I'm super excited. I really am. I haven't had this, you know, I've had a fabulous 7 years. I've really enjoyed it in China. I've enjoyed my coaching. I've enjoyed it. But I'm super excited to be coming home and being involved, you know, in a project like this that I can have my stamp on. I don't have to worry from the start, well, if we lose the first 4 or 5 games, I'm going to get the sack. I don't have to worry about any of that. I can develop a culture. And you know what's been nice, Rob? Since it's been announced, do you know on the social media, the feedback has been absolutely fantastic. But you know, if I was going back into league management, the feedback would be, oh, well, you failed at Stockport or you failed at Mansfield. You didn't do this right. You didn't do that right. But because I've gone into grassroots football, people are like, you know, are saying good things about it. It's a good thing for me to do that. And it's, you know, people are super excited about it. And so it's given me a real good buzz. I'll be honest with you. I can't wait to get going.
Is there any other reason rather than just maybe the dependency on results and the money that is within league football now that you think has maybe impacted the culture within football at that level and made it less fun?
Well, I know now, having spoke to players, I mean, this has been my conversation with the chairman to get to where we are with where I accepted the job offer has been going on for months. I've been speaking to players now, and I signed 7 or 8 players yesterday, players who could play in the Football League and they don't want to go and play in the Football League. That is sad. That is sad. They don't want to go and play in the Football League because the social media, all of the things, there's no enjoyment, there's no character. The non-league is, you know, the grassroots football where they can have a crack, they can have a drink after the game, they can enjoy it. Do you know all of that thing? What happened was the game is the spotlight with the media and the money, right? And then it takes it away from the local man in the street, because the local man in the street goes to watch Arsenal play, £60, £70, right? It's a lot of money. So he wants his side to win, but his side can't win every week. And so therefore that comes down to the manager, because he plays a system to win a football game rather than play a system that plays entertaining football for them to come and watch. And this is what's happened to football. I don't watch the Premier League every week. I pick and choose the games I want to watch because it's not enjoyable. I watch Man City, I watch Liverpool because they go out and play the way the managers want them to play, to entertain, to try and get a result, rather than like, oh, I'm picking a side today to nullify the opposition to get a result. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And I'm not going to do it. And the chairman knows I'm not going to do it. I'm going to play it. And it's when Ron Atkinson used to leave our dressing room, right, his last words he used to say was, I'm going upstairs, entertain me, entertain the supporters. That's what his last words were. And that will be my last words to my team when they go out. Of course, winning's in my DNA, but it won't be my priority when I go into Grantham. My priority is to create a team that plays entertaining football. Within that, if they do that and they do the right things, the results will come, like they did with us at Sheffield Wednesday, like they did with us at Leeds United. They will come.
You're still clearly very passionate about the game, aren't you?
I love football. I really, it's part of my life. It's always has been, always will be. It was sad when I wasn't involved in the game anymore, in the professional game, and when I chose to come away from it. But it wasn't enjoyable. My missus said to me, "Carlton, please," because I get so caught up in it all that I take things personal. And I understand, like at Mansfield, the supporters feeling the way that they felt. But the problem that they've got and what they don't understand is not every team can win the league. Not every team can get promoted. You have in the Football League, by and large, if you go through the leagues, all the way through the leagues, right, unless a manager is given time, they are there or thereabouts on the budget they have. That's a fact. That is a fact. So if I'm manager of Mansfield Town and my budget is 750 grand a year, and the top teams in that league, the budgets are 1.5 or 1.6, unless I'm given time, how are you going to compete with those teams? So I understand the frustrations of the supporters, but that's the reality of the game. And then they start getting on you. You then need results. You're not getting results. It's a knock-on effect, and it just doesn't become enjoyable. It really doesn't. And I've got many a manager in the game today, all different levels, and I speak to them and they don't enjoy it. How's that right?
Do you have any views on the state of grassroots football in this country, particularly with what's happening due to coronavirus? And given what you've said, how important is it that we protect grassroots football? Because it does still present the kind of interest and atmosphere and culture that you're talking about.
Need to go back to grassroots football. You get the grassroots football, you get those kids who are hungry and determined to play in the league. That's where I started. It's almost like Lucy said to me, you're going back to the beginning, right? Where I started, giving something back to what got me into the game. When I first started playing, right, I was at Northfield Town, non-league, that toughened me up. I would be speaking to the likes of Darren Moore and other managers in the area to say, right, listen, your players at 20 and 21 need to get out and play in a man's league. Let them come to me, let them play in this league, let them toughen them up and let them understand what it is about. Because at the moment, what it's about now is Rolexes, Bentleys, Porsches, Ferraris, all of that, which is all a load of bollocks, excuse me French. If you're a top player, you've got all them. You've got all them things. They should go and watch Chris Waddle still go and playing on the Parks pitch on a Sunday morning. He's got every honour in the game and loads of money, but he loves the game of football, and that's what's been lost now. Players play the game, not all, but players play the game because they can earn a good living from it, right? Managers do it because managers can earn a good living from it, right? But it all culminates down to a money environment which doesn't develop the right kind of characters. It doesn't develop the right kind of culture within a football club, and it doesn't develop the right kind of culture that we want to give to the supporters. I want supporters to leave from the football matches that I'm in charge of, seeing the real Carlton Palmer, because the team needs to reflect the real Carlton Palmer. My team at Mansfield didn't reflect the real Carlton Palmer because I couldn't do that, because it's all about results with the supporters. Do you know what I mean? In the end, before Brendan Elwood left Stockport, the team was reflecting Carlton Palmer. We were winning football matches. We were playing a brand of football that was good and enjoyable, right? And that's what I want to be able to do. I was able to do that at Stockport because Brendan Elwood was a very strong, motivated man. I remember when we lost 5-0 at West Bromwich Albion, he came to my house that night, Brendan, and he said to me, there's no way I'm going to sack you. There is no way. He said, I know what you're doing. I know what you're trying to do. I can see it, and it's going to come. And that's what you need. You need a chairman who's strong enough to do that. I'm a strong enough person if I've got a strong enough chairman. If I haven't, then it becomes difficult. And then you put yourself, like my missus says to me, well, why would you put yourself through that? Financially, you're secure. You don't need the money. Why would you put yourself back in there? Right? So that's why I took myself out of it. Now I can go into non-league. People can see how passionate I'm about it, not earning a fortune. And it's not about the money. The money side of it, we never discussed with the chairman, because all I was interested in is what he was going to allow me to do within his football club. And could we agree that we were on the same page? And he said to me, he put loads of money. You've got to remember, in non-league, generally it's owned by businessmen who put their own money into the football club. He never enjoyed it last season. He put a lot of money in there. He just felt that players were turning up to pick up a salary. And it's not happening. Already with the players that I've got coming on board, they've all took huge drops, and I mean huge, for non-league to come and play for me. Because I've told them we're not paying that type of money. Even though I've got the budget to do it, I've said we're not paying that type of money. What I'm happy to do is give incentives, clean sheets for the goalkeeper, goal bonus, right? You know, why should, you know, Howard Wilkinson did that for me. You know, when I went to Leeds United, if we kept a clean sheet and got a result, I got a bonus. Why should I get a bonus if we get beat? But that's what happens in the game today. They still get their money. Should they get beat, they still end up with their money. So the chairman's been like that with me, and it's starting really good. I think we've got a really good opportunity, especially this season, because I think a lot of people and a lot of private owners will have been hit with COVID. And so the players I'm getting them early, getting them in early on board and getting them fit. And the players I'm speaking to, they're buying into the excitement of what I'm talking about. Because, Rob, it's not going to change for me. Saturday night, win, lose and draw, I will buy the lads a beer. That's gone out the game now. Because, it's taboo now because you can't have a drink. Why not? Why can't you have a drink? I just don't get it. I used to have a drink on a Friday night before I played. I used to have 2 pints of Guinness on a Friday night. How is that going to affect my performance on the day of the game? 2 pints of Guinness. It's not. But it's this mentality of the way the game's gone, because the supporters are paying their money. So if they think, you've gone to a pub on a Friday night and you've had a couple of pints of Guinness, that's why you've not played well on a Saturday. I don't blame the supporters. I just blame the way the game's gone with the money. But I think what's going to happen, there's going to be a realignment in the game about the money, because clubs will not pay that money. You wouldn't think clubs will be able to pay that money from next season. Premier League maybe, because they've got the big money coming from Sky, but going down to all the way down to Championship going down now, because with all due respect now, Rob, in the Championship now, you can earn 15, 20 grand a week in the Championship. That used to be in 1992 a top international Premiership wage.
It's very interesting. Yeah, that's more of an average salary now, isn't it, rather than even a top salary? I think in the Championship, that's the way the game's changed. I just wonder, Carlton, on a different topic. You've been living in China, as you mentioned, for a number of years, and you will return to the UK this summer. How would you sort of assess your time in China? What has it been like living there? How have you found that experience?
I've got to be honest with you, Rob. We just this weekend, because we're coming home, we went to Beijing, and we've just done we walked the Great Wall, and it was quite emotional. And we both sat down, Lucy and I. It's been an absolute fabulous experience. China is, if I fit into China, because, like, say for instance now, the Chinese people do not worry about what you say or what you do. We go to a fancy dress party. We've gone out in pajamas to a fancy dress party on the metro and nobody's batted an eyelid. They don't care what you say. What they like is, it's worked for me here, they like work ethic. They don't come to you and say, it might not be in your contract, but they'll come to you and reward you for doing that. They don't have a time for a job. So say, for instance, your hours are 9 till 5. No, they will do what they have to do to get the job done, right? So it's almost my mentality of the way I've lived my life. They enjoy life. So when the weekend comes, they work hard. When it comes to the weekend, they enjoy going out to dinner. They enjoy having a drink. You know, funny enough, Rob, if you're going to do a deal here with somebody, it's over a drink. You sit down with the owners over a drink before you do a deal. Mick Wright will tell you, who was a former Sheffield Wednesday director, he did a deal that made him a multi-millionaire in China over a drink, over an handshake. He still deals with those people, and there's never been a contract signed. They're very loyal people. If you work hard, they reward you, and you see the rewards of your work. So it's been a fabulous experience. I mean, it's been cut short by 1 year, but we were going to come home next year anyhow, because we, you know, the kids and the grandkids. Had we been younger, we could have stayed here for many a year. It's an absolute fantastic place, absolute fantastic culture, and I've learned so many things now that I'm going to be able to use to take into management. Like, you know, I know, like in China, they don't deviate. Sometimes in management or in the way you think, I'm going to change this, I'm going to change that, they don't deviate. I believe that this is right. I'm going to stick to it. And that's what I'm going to come back and do. I believe this is right. I believe this is the right way to do it. And I'm going to stick to it. And they get results because of that. So, I mean, it's been a fabulous experience. It really has. But for both me and my wife is a head teacher. She's returning back to the UK, and she'll tell you the experience that she's got and the experience that she's learned from being out here has been priceless.
Carlton, it's been fantastic speaking to you. You are, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the most interesting people to listen to talking about football or anything. And I'm sure a lot of people will be nodding along to what you've had to say, and we're wishing you the very best at Grantham.
Thank you very much, Rob.